Hey everyone, Christy Arnett here for Card3 TV, and this is the final installment of our series about big buy-in, multi-day deep stacked events. Making a final table is every poker player's dream, and Jonathan Little has done it multiple times in his short career. He also has 2 World Poker Tour wins, so who better to talk to about it? We caught up with him and asked him how he felt just before his first televised final table.
I didn't really expect to be distracted by the lights and the cameras and all that, but at the same time I was still very nervous. I don't think I slept any the night before. And that kind of affected me. I think I went in there, went to it kind of tired, and I was nervous. It was my first time I've ever been to anything like that, and you always feel like you have to prove something the first time you get to a final table, and usually because of that you add like pressure to yourself and you end up screwing up some way. And I know I can think of many things I did wrong at that final table, but I didn't do that good, and I think that a lot of things leading up to it ruined my chances to do well.
Like he said, he didn't win the first time he made a final table appearance, but he finally got there. Here's what he had to say about the changes he made.
In my first final table, I think I was a little bit impatient. I was like, okay, I got ace king, I'm not folding it no matter what. And I think I just overplayed a few hands and tried to put like unneeded pressure on people whenever I didn't really need to put the pressure on. And then the second one, and then also the third one, I was just a little bit more patient, waited for good spots, because the blind structures were slower, a little bit slower in those as well. But I was patient, and I didn't worry about what, I wasn't concerned with busting. I was just kind of concerned with hanging around and just being patient and picking up chips.
We also asked Little what advice he would give to players who are making a final table appearance for the first time.
To prepare, they should try to, to go out and eat, get some good food, take something to make them go to sleep that won't screw them up the next day, like NyQuil or something, or a glass of wine, something light. And, just make sure you get to sleep and eat good the next morning, and try to stay focused on poker and not worry too much about everything else that's going on around you. You just have to not worry about it. Whenever I'm playing, I know I don't even think about what other people are thinking anymore, because everyone's watching you, but you just have to learn to not care, because in poker, usually the person that cares the least does the best, because they're not worried about losing immediately. They're more worried about winning in the future. Usually whenever you're at a final table, you need to figure out who is the weakest player at the table and go after them a lot, because most of the players, whenever you make a final table, are all pretty good. And even the weak players aren't really that weak. They don't have that many serious flaws. But you have to concentrate on things that they do wrong. Like usually the amateurish type players, they will tend to overplay their hands, like I did my first time. They're going to make one top pair and go with it. So you got to figure out who that is and pinpoint them and try to, take advantage of them. But say it's someone that's known to be a maniac, is constantly raising your blind, yeah, you definitely have to send a message. Like, and Mirage, Phil Ivey raised my blind a few times in a row, like before he got to the final table. We was down to like 12 people, I think. So I just started pushing on him often, because I know he's raising like 100% of his hands, because he knows that I'm pretty tight. And you have to make sure that people realize that you're going to be playing back at them if they start to pound on you a little bit. So don't be pushed around, but at the same time, don't get impatient.
That concludes our series on big buy-in events. If you'd like to view the previous installments, be sure to check out the Strategy channel. I'm Christy Arnett for Card3 TV.